Welcome to another episode of the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. I am your show host, Sonia Ahuja, the founder and CEO of Orbis 86. And joining me on another episode of the Silicon Dreams today is Phil from Dragmalabs. Hey, Phil, welcome to the Silicon Dreams.
Hey, what's up, Sonia? Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure having you here. So, Phil, tell me, what are you doing in this crazy Wild West world of Web3? Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audiences here listening into the Silicon Dreams and Radio Zindagi.
I act as business development officer over at Dragmalabs, meaning that I'm the one doing the onboarding. I'm scouting for new projects, reaching to my deep and vast network throughout the ecosystem, especially over Hedera, the XRPL, ETH, Sol, Bitcoin also. I'm also the one doing customer support, making sure they have an amazing experience, keeping my ear on the ground for them to be satisfied and have awesome feedback.
So would you love to let us know what exactly are you building over at Dragmalabs, and what does it mean for the audiences, right? Anyone who's listening in, be it a small, medium-sized business, an enterprise, or an individual who is just trying to explore what's happening with Web3 and what's on trend and what could Web3 be used to build.
What we're building right now is a platform, meaning that a launchpad where you can launch your project, your business through GameFi. So through a gaming service to gaming that we have a token service, meaning that any business having the token will be able to be on our launchpad and benefit from value off the platform that we have. And that through various partners. We have 10 very much trusted partners that will be joining us on our mint, meaning that's our launch, official launch that will be ongoing in the next weeks. And our platform offers also a term that we call communify, meaning that it's a business empower one another through various terms of value.
Would you delve a little bit into how could communify or GameFi actually be leveraged by businesses to create some experiences for their customers? How could it be leveraged to create a better customer loyalty experience, or even an experience that just allows them to connect with new consumer bases?
We've come to the point where gaming is kind of in a stalemate situation where you really want it to grow, and you want bigger tech, you want bigger sphere, you want to reach, especially to new people. You want to get there and, hey, you want to grab the people that's in front of you. And how can you do that? Well, you can do that with fun. You can do that with communities. And I truly believe that over at Hedera, we have the tech, not only to propel those goals, but also to reach to newer mass and new people and to give them fun, give them a meaning and purpose. And game, what that means is just the very same thing you are already doing, which is gaming, having fun, sharing this fun, but also with new means, new tech, and Dragmalabs does just that.
Gaming, an important aspect, right, for any community building. Now, you did say a few times that you're building on Hedera, right? What is Hedera? A lot of our audiences have heard about Bitcoin, they've heard about Ethereum. Yeah. What is Hedera? Why should anyone care about building on Hedera? How does Hedera stand out from Ethereum or Bitcoin?
The simplest answer to that is what it represents to you. To me, it represents communities. It represents what's possible inside those communities. I am the very least tech guy around. What I do understand, though, is the power of the people, the power of the talent, power of uniquely driven individuals that really strive towards what's best day after day. Hedera represents for me communities that are based on talent with new means, new tech that will be able to reach, again, new communities and new people all around in a secure fashion, in ease of use, amazing UX, and just having fun. That's what it represents for me.
All right, Phil. Well, I would love to add a couple of sentences just to this fabulous explanation that you gave, especially coming from a community side, right? Like Hedera has a good community. Besides that, even from a tech front, Hedera makes it really easy for enterprises or small, medium businesses to get onboarded into Web3 because they allow you to bring your own dev stack. So even if you are generally on blockchain, when you're building on blockchain, you have to know Solidity, which is a programming language that you use to build on blockchain. However, when you're interfacing with Hedera, you can interface in Java, JavaScript, Go, and between just Java and JavaScript, that provides coverage for about 90% of the enterprise applications that have been built out in the past 2 decades. It really makes onboarding very easy, pretty well documented. Developers code is there is an active community supporting developers, so that makes it really a great choice for anyone looking to quickly build on Web3 without hiring an entire team or finding contractors that work on Solidity that generally are pretty expensive. And the one other thing is when it comes to gas fees. So gas fees are what the miners, right, the people who are supporting the network collect in order to support your transactions. If you think about it, guys, AWS collects fees from you for hosting your service for you. Similarly, when you host something on the decentralized web, you have individual node providers, right? That's why it's called decentralized, who is hosting. These providers are hosting data, they are hosting the infrastructure for you to build on. And so the way to reward them is by giving them gas fees. And at the moment, as we know, Bitcoin network, unfortunately, is congested. Many are hating on Ordinals NFTs for that congestion. And Ethereum still has an inherent problem of extremely high gas fees. Hedera, on the other hand, the one thing that they have done very innovatively is that they peg the gas fees to dollar value. So no matter whatever is the price of the HBAR token, which is the native token for Hedera, what happens is you are just paying a fraction of a cent for most of the transactions, and that will never change no matter how the price of HBAR changes. And just to add to that, HBAR actually has a pretty solid enterprise presence where Google, ServiceNow, IBM, Dell, IIT Madras, TCS, Tata Consulting Services, we have about 28 well-known enterprises. I even forgot Boeing out there, who are actually part of Hedera's governing council, and they're building on top of Hedera. So when you're building on Hedera, you're actually building on top of infrastructure that is being used by Fortune 500 companies to also kickstart their journey into Web3. Now, with that being said, how can Dragmalabs help individual artists, small, medium businesses to get onboarded into this ecosystem? You want to shed some light on the launchpad as well as the incubator that Dragmalabs is going to be launching in near future?
What we offer is not only expertise. We're 5 in the team right now. Each and every one of us offer a vast array of experience, ranging from community-based development, backend, front end, also user experience, and of course, we want to build a game, right? So this is coming out really well. So what we bring is ease of use, coupled with this experience. No matter the tech that you have at hand, what is really important is to bring it with ease of use and smoothness, really to gather everything you have in terms of knowledge and bring it up to anyone coming in, whether that's a new project, a new business, whether you're doing a game, whether you're not doing a game, whether you're just doing for you the project that you see fit and you just want to have a nice picture for you on the ecosystem.
So yeah. Phil from Dragmalabs, right? For our audiences on the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM, the question I have for you is, how can GameFi be used to bridge the gap between what is being built by the traditional non-Web3 gaming companies, and if we want to onboard these companies to Web3, what Dragmalabs is building, the GameFi solution that is being built? How can that be leveraged by these companies to not just connect with Web3 audiences, but also introduce their existing audiences and players to the world of Web3?
I'll tell you what we don't have to do first, which is doing something entirely different. Because what already works is gaming. We already know that people love gaming, especially the millennials. What we want to do is bring the tech that we have right now and bring more value to them with the tools that we have, with the team that we have. And at the very center of it, we want fun, we want Communify, and all those tools that Hedera brings, this new tech with ease of use and how secure it is, we can bring fun around Communify, and that's how we bring it. And again, like I said before, with our expertise, we're going to be able to bring that.
All right, all right. So guys, if you're looking forward to figuring out how you could actually bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, if you are a gaming company looking to build something in Web 3, you can take a look at, again, Dragmalabs. That's the name of the platform. That is the platform that you can visit, and you can check out the stack that they are providing. And as we mentioned earlier, you also have access to their incubator and their launchpad in case you decide to build something on the Hedera ecosystem. Phil, with that being said, you have been in this ecosystem for a few months, a few years now. And what I would love to ask
2
you
years.
is, building in Hedera, right? What are the top 2 or 3 reasons you would give to any layman out here, who's listening to the show, as to why should they come, why should they care about building in Web 3, right? I mean, we did talk about how Hedera provides a better stack than ETH or Bitcoin for businesses to build on, but why should businesses even care about Web 3, right? Like, why should they be looking at Web 3 when they probably have Web 2 tools that are sort of working for them? Why Web 3?
That's an outstanding question. First and foremost, you don't have to. I think you need to, up to a certain degree, if you want to. You could do it on any ecosystem, I believe. Me, I chose Hedera again because, of course, the reasons that we said before, because of the communities, because of the tech, and because of the possibilities, all those bring forward to me. That's what's next. That's how I feel like where everything is coming up, where possibilities are in terms of payment, in terms of GameFi, in terms of possibility on the net, in terms of how you can access one another value and bring it up forth and onwards with new possibilities to reach new people. So you don't necessarily need to be in Web3. This is absolutely where we're going. But again, for me, it strikes up the most because I can connect with people. That, to me, that's a means to an end where I can connect with people like you. Like, say, maybe I would have never have known you, maybe Sonia, before in Web 2, but now look, Web 3 is hope. Is hope of accomplishing yourself, bettering ourselves too, without being cliche, right? But that's what it is. And growing with something that's bigger than us. And to me, Hedera is my home because of technology, what it brings, and new possibilities to reach new people, new friends, and connections.
Thank you, Phil. I would love to, again, just add to that. I feel like Web3 is one of those new frontiers of tech that we are talking about. In Web2, in the past 2 decades, like in 2000, right, everybody, when the dot-com bubble burst, we had people running away from the internet. Investors didn't want to touch anything that had internet in their deck after the bubble burst. And look at where we are now. You can't even think about a single day when most of us, and I'm pretty sure everyone listening to this podcast or listening to the radio show, right? Because the radio show listeners are in the Bay Area, and anyone listening to the podcast is actually listening to this on internet. So where we are now is internet has become this integral part of our life, which is unescapable. And it has added so much value to us, not only bringing the world closer, but also allowing us to expedite our research, our build outs. And similarly, with Web3, so what happened over the past 2 decades is around internet, we saw businesses being built and conglomerates being built. However, what has happened is, as a society, our wealth gaps have still continued to broaden versus closing in the chasm, as we say that. And what I believe is, with Web3, you're able to build community enterprises, right? And Phil, you just spoke about Communify. I want to shed some light on that too. But I feel that Web3 is where you have the tools and the technology, as well as the people willing to work with you to build something of a community enterprise. And also, this is where you can easily onboard your community members, create rewards experiences for them, create token gated experiences for them, right? So token gated experience, guys, are where the community members, it's like an experience for a membership site, right? So just like you have to get a membership pass to access a club, similarly, a token gated experience is where you build out a membership pass for people. And generally, if you're building that out in Web2, you have to go and figure out the entire stack by yourself. But in Web3, most of the chains actually provide the stack out of the box that works reliably for you to build on. And I feel like that's going to be an important piece of why people should be looking at adopting Web3, because it just allows them to build community enterprises, to build communities. And it also provides them an access to decentralization, right? Not just decentralization of finance. So DeFi is one big thing, and that's where cryptocurrencies, et cetera, come in. But we're also talking about decentralized infrastructure, decentralized knowledge stores, decentralized organizations, right? And that's where Web3 brings in a lot it offers a lot for people to build on. So I believe that Web3 is like the internet in 2000. That's what we're going through. Obviously, we are in a bear market. Web3 is even more bearish. But 2 decades from now, when we have this conversation, it's going to be very different. With that being said, Phil, share your thoughts on Communify. First of all, please introduce to our audiences here on the Silicon Dreams and Radios in the 1550 AM. What is Communify? And then hopefully you can guide us and let us know how Dragmalabs is helping out with the Communify aspect of things.
It's precisely like we were just saying. It's really simple in the fact where you have tokens that gives you opportunities in terms of you have a project, you have a business, you have a token for your project that you can use in our platform and exchange it in terms of what we call mutuality, where it's all coming up together inside one very much platform that you can after that use towards every single platform and every single project too. So it's a means to an end in terms of it's all going up together in the same way, in the same length, in the same energy going forward with other partners.
And do you know how exactly could Communify help build out something that is not existing today for anyone looking to leverage Communify, right? So what I mean by that is, why should people come to Dragmalabs, or why should people look at Web3 to build this aspect of Communify? Can't they do it with their existing tools? Why look at Web3 at all for building the Communify aspect of things?
Yeah, I hate using the word bridge, but that's how it is in terms. What we're building at the core front of this is a fun experience. And that's like a bait, right? A gentle one, where we have an amazing experience with something you already know, which is game. And at the very core of it, we have this whole entire new world that you can discover through Communify, through those tokens that we talked about earlier on, through those what we call NFTs, through this entire new world that is built on Hedera. And that's at the core of it again, is the game that we have that you can play. Multiplayer section will be coming on along later on this year. And after that, it's just fun that you're going to be able to share with one another. So it's already a system that's in place that you know, which is a game. But inside, there's a little sparkle to it. There's a spiciness.
Guys, the gaming industry market size in 2023 is predicted that it's about a $384 billion market. It's $385 billion being invested just in the gaming opportunity. And as we know, we talk about gamification in all walks of life, right? So when we talk about gaming experiences, the one thing that I want to add is, when you're thinking about gaming, you don't necessarily have to just think about people playing Magic the Gathering or Catan or Pokemon, right? It should not just game in the traditional sense. but we're talking about gamification here too. So when you are competing with your colleagues in office as to who gets the most number of steps out, right? Or you are creating some fun experiences for people to connect together, or you have some leaderboard style of experiences that are being created as to, hey, who closes most tickets, who got some good sales going, any kind of those gamified experiences could be actually leveraging GameFi. And if you, and especially for these experiences, right, where you're not really trying to build like a full-fledged game with Unity or Unreal Engine, it's about building a gamified experience. Building on top of Web3 actually presents a great opportunity. Inherently, Phil, whenever people are building in Web3, right, we talk about tokens, right? So tokens, they may or may not have a price point associated with it. But let's just touch upon that. When it's especially in the world of Web3, people work with a concept called play to earn, right? Do you
Mhm.
want to shed a little light on what play to earn is and how could people leverage that to further incentivize gamers, or again, as we said, community members or their users who are entering a gamified ecosystem?
Mhm. Again, it's all about opportunities. In terms of play to earn, it's really important to have intrinsic value inside the project before venturing into that. You have to put at the forefront sustainability, which is very important. And the very center, you have to have great tech too. Long-term planning too is exceedingly important. And you have to bring up the forefront, again, community first before doing any play to earn gaming boards.
Bill, would you like to first touch upon what play to earn itself is? Because a lot of people might be hearing this term for the first time, or they might have heard it but aren't very aware of it. So what is play to earn?
You play and you earn. It's the very best example is very most likely the game that we all see on on your mobile phones, and you just play and you earn something. It can be anything. It can be anything, right? Say if you're playing a game that you just scroll and you have some cherries, you have some fruits and whatever, and you're going to earn something in the game. Usually it's a currency and you don't know really about it, but it's going to be like, let's say, the cherry token, and you earn that. What we're doing in Web3 is like you expand this entire universe and actually bring value to it, but outside the gaming industry. And that's really what play to earn is that you play and literally you earn something, but that goes deeper and further than the game itself.
So, like Phil said, if you think about your regular games, right? If you're playing any sort of a game that rewards you, like even when we used to play Temple Run or whatnot, right? You would cross certain obstacles and then you would get rewarded with points. Generally, what would happen is those points or those tokens in the game that you get rewarded with, most what you could do with those tokens was get some in-game purchases going, right? And people like that aspect of fun, like, hey, I earned something, now I'm going to get my character an avatar, or I'm going to use these tokens to unlock another level. However, none of the time that you've spent and whatever you've earned, it never translated into anything outside of that ecosystem. Now with play to earn, what has happened is the Web3 world is actually connecting what you earn in these games to real world money. And the way they do that is the token that you earn in the game. Generally, companies that provide this infrastructure, they will allow you to exchange that token for US dollars or any other currency on a centralized exchange or on a decentralized exchange. So exchanges are where you go to swap your fiat currencies for cryptocurrencies. And by fiat currencies, we mean US dollars, Indian rupee, pound, the general government regulated currencies that we are all used to using. And we all know what cryptocurrencies are. So exchanges are where you go to exchange that. Either swap your fiat into crypto or swap your crypto into fiat. And these tokens are cryptocurrencies. So if you look at ecosystems like Sandbox, Decentraland, or Axie Infinity, especially in Philippines, created this vibrant ecosystem for a lot of gamers to actually earn money by playing Axie Infinity. And I know people who were earning anywhere between like a couple of $100 to even a few $1,000s every month just playing on Axie Infinity. And at that time, the token value was pretty high. Right now, the Axie Infinity token value has dropped in value. But in Philippines, even a couple of $100s goes a long way. So the play to earn creates this opportunity for people to make some money while doing something that they love. Like, how often do you actually get paid to play a game? Unless you're a beta tester or you're working for companies like
Or you're
NVIDIA or
streaming.
EA, right? Where they actually hire people to test out the games before they hit the market. But the play to earn democratizes that and just makes that opportunity available to everyone. So if you're spending time playing a game, you could actually make money while playing it. And then and it's not just, tokens or currency or bucks that you spend inside the game, but you could actually take that outside of the game, exchange it, and get some money to even pay your bills. So that really excites me. With that note, Phil, I would love for you to end the show with a call to action for the audience members who are listening in. And the call to action, why don't we cover why they should care about Web3 and then also share a little tidbit about what to expect from Dragmalabs?
It's a little bit cliche, but again, it all comes down to hope. So it's not cliche at all. The time is right for you to find yourself and your own path, your own way inside this world right now, Web3, because we're so early. And it's true. You can be anything. You can be anyone. You can start anything because everything is so at the bottom and building up that you can do absolutely what you want to do. And right now, there's amazing communities building absolutely awesome tools in all sorts of genres, in all sorts of texts, in every single domain possible. There is a way for you out there, and there is a way for you with us also at Dragmalab before we offer absolutely everything you need for you to have a clear path, a clear vision, something that's secure, something that is absolutely around communify and fun and GameFi.
Well, thank you for that, Phil. And guys, just to add to what Phil said, when he said everyone's building, like literally, companies from Nike to Starbucks to Adidas, all of these companies are building in Web3. And more importantly, just like Phil said, we are still early because globally it is estimated that the number of even cryptocurrency users are not more than 300 million and a world population is 8 billion. So if you are coming in now, you're part of the first 5% really stepping into Web3. So again, as I said, it's like stepping into building something on the internet when it was just booming in early 2000s, right? That's where you are at. The good thing is in the past decade, Web3 has gone through a lot of trial and error. So now you have infrastructure and you have stacks that can actually stand the test of time. And that is important. And Phil, where can our audiences find Dragmalabs?
Dragma.io is everything you will need for us to find you and for you to find us. We're also available on Discord and Twitter at Dragmalabs.
Folks, the one other thing I want to give Phil a shout out for is he also has his YouTube show called Mints and Drops, where you can go and find more information about other builders in the Hedera ecosystem as well. So that's on YouTube. Look for Mints and Drops on YouTube, and that's where you can find Phil interviewing a lot of the builders in this space, and he does an amazing job with that. With that, folks, we have come to the end of another episode of the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. I want to give a big shout out to Phil from Dragmalabs for joining us here today. Go and find Phil and the fantastic team at Dragmalabs at dragma.io. And join us next week for another episode of the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. Until then, this is your show host, Sonia Ahuja, signing off.